Hey guys, welcome to our channel. Today we will be bringing you the classic fairy tale, Hansel and Gretel. So let's begin. Once upon a time, in a small village, nestled on the edge of a dark and mysterious forest, there lived a poor woodcutter and his wife. They had 2 children, a boy named Hansel and a girl named Gretel. The family barely had enough food to eat, and the woodcutter struggled to put food on the table for his family. The stepmother, greedy and harsh, often complained about how difficult it was to be poor, and said that she wished the children would just disappear. One day, the stepmother told the woodcutter that she couldn't take care of the children anymore, and insisted that he takes them deep into the forest and leaves them there. The woodcutter didn't want to, but because his wife had been nagging him about this for a long time, he finally agreed. On their way into the woods, Hansel overheard his parents talking about what they were going to do with him and his sister. Wanting to save himself and his sister, Hansel started picking up white pebbles and dropping them along the path they were walking on. When they got to the deepest part of the forest, the stepmother told Hansel and Gretel to sit down on a nearby stone while she and the woodcutter went to gather wood. But instead of sitting there, the children got up and started following the path of pebbles back home. The stepmother and the woodcutter returned empty-handed and very frustrated to find that the children were gone. They walked around looking for them, but since it was getting dark, they had to go home. Just as they got to their house, they saw Hansel and Gretel waiting for them at the door with big smiles on their faces. The parents were very angry, but they were also relieved to have their children back. The next morning, the stepmother woke up early. She knew that something had happened the previous day, but she couldn't figure out what. She was sure that Hansel and Gretel had done something to stop her plans, but she wasn't sure what. She didn't want to wait to find out. She wanted to get rid of the children once and for all. She gave the children only a small piece of bread for breakfast, and led them into the forest once again. Hansel couldn't gather pebbles this time, so he used breadcrumbs to mark the path. Then the children walked into the forest. When the stepmother and the woodcutter were sure that they were far away, they turned around and started heading back home. Hansel and Gretel looked at each other and started following the crumbs. But when they turned around, they realized that the birds had eaten all of the crumbs, and they were completely lost. They walked through the forest for a long time until they finally came across a clearing, and in the middle of the clearing stood a strange house. It looked like something out of a fairy tale, with walls made of gingerbread and a roof made of candy. The children were starving, so they started to eat the house. Suddenly, the door opened and an old woman came out. She was very skinny and had a big hooked nose. She invited the children inside her house and gave them food and drink. She was very nice to them, and they felt comfortable in her company. She asked them to stay with her, and they agreed. But they didn't know that she was actually a wicked witch who lured children into her home to fatten them up and eat them. The witch locked Hansel in a cage and forced Gretel to do all the chores. Every day she would say to Gretel, "Tomorrow I will bake a pie and put the bird in it." The bird, of course, was Hansel. He had already been there for 3 days and was getting weaker by the hour. On the 3rd day, the witch told Gretel to check the oven to see if it was hot enough. But Gretel knew that the oven was cold, and that the witch just wanted to trick her so she could put Hansel in the oven. Gretel pretended she didn't understand what the witch wanted her to do, and asked her to show her how to check the oven. The witch was too busy stirring the pot and couldn't help her, so she just waved her hand and said, "Well, then you'll have to figure it out yourself." Just then, the witch bent down to stir the pot, and Gretel shoved her into the oven and slammed the door shut. After freeing Hansel, the children started searching the witch's house. They found many treasures that she had stolen from the children she had eaten. They took all the gold coins and jewels they could carry and left the rest behind. Then they started making their way back home. When they arrived, they noticed that their stepmother was gone. Their father had taken her to the market to sell some of the things she had stolen from the witch. But when he returned home, he saw Hansel and Gretel waiting for him at the door. He was so happy to see them. He hugged them and told them how much he loved them. He promised to take care of them and make sure they never went hungry again. And he kept his promise. With the treasure from the witch's house, the family never went hungry again and lived happily ever after. The end. If you enjoyed watching this video, don't forget to like and share it with your friends and family. Subscribe to our channel for more exciting content. We wish you a lifetime of happiness and joy. Thank you for watching.